So just one more test. When do you still see my screen pinned, or now it's person who speaked pinned, the last ping?
I see it.
Okay.
Yes, and it's pinned. It's okay.
So how many people we have in conference today?
In our room, for now, it's just a 15, but we have more than 150 people here.
Nice.
This is the last information from Anna, but I think maybe it was from yesterday. Maybe it will be more for today, few more. But it's a very good number.
Congratulations.
Thank you. As I know, don't Anna will probably stop the room if she thinks that but I will send her a note that we will start with the other topic, just to not to quit the room, because first session you jump in during the first session, before we finished it.
Okay, so
No, it's okay. Everything is okay. I will just maybe will be the room will be stopped, and after that we will have to came back here again. But for now, it's everything okay.
super. So now we know how to pin me.
Yes, yes, that was a new thing for me.
More minute.
Yes, yes. Just
Is anyone excited as I do?
probably. Our visitors are so shiny today.
I didn't, I was not sure like how much interactive this presentation I could do. So I didn't want to risk too much with the time and involvement of audience, but I'm always a fan of including people, so we can maybe slow down for a moment and check if there is any clarity or any questions, or if not, in the end, if there is any time left, we can do that.
Yes, okay. It is planned to be at the end. If you like to make questions during the presentation and to make to be interactive on that kind of way, we can do like that. It's okay.
Okay, maybe we can let people ask questions in chat during all the time, and then in the end, I can follow up and answering them.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the plan for this. But if somebody wants to ask something during the presentation, raise a hand and ask personally, it's okay too. So I like also interactive presentations, and it's challenging when you are doing this online, but it can be interesting too.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
So hello, Slobodan. More familiar faces. Oh, Bella, hello. Oh, now I feel that there is more exciting people and excited. Okay, so it's 11:01. Should we start?
We can start. People will jump in or go to visit other rooms during the your presentation. Don't worry about that. We can start.
Perfect. So let's start then with my presentation. And first, I want to thank you, Jelena and Anna, for inviting me here. And I want to welcome everyone. I'm very excited to be here in Roadmaps conference, and especially because this is the first product online conference in Balkan. So, and I'm very excited to talk about product and about product discovery particularly. So today my talk will be about unleashing the product discovery potential, and I will focus on comparing different organizations because we all work in different business in different circumstances, and it's not always easy to do things how somebody else told you. So I will try to reflect on those differences, and I will try to reflect how the best product teams are doing product discovery. And what anyone of you can do, no matter in which organization you are working, to improve your product discovery. So I hope that my presentation will be provoking, no matter are you junior or completely new to this role or more senior. I hope that this will presentation trigger you to think about how you can do differently your product discovery. And saying all that, I want briefly to introduce myself to get to know each other a little bit better. So my name is Ozren C. I'm a product and agile coach, currently working at Vinted. Vinted is the leading C2C marketplace for buying, selling, exchanging secondhand clothes. And it has more than 75 million of customers active daily. So it's a very huge business with very inspiring mission. I was half my career product person. The other half of my career, I'm coach. So I coach in my career like something probably more than 200 teams. I am also certified Design Sprint Masters Facilitator by Design Sprint Academy. I'm trained by Silicon Valley Product Group. I'm organizational and professional team coach as well. And I'm based in Berlin, in Germany. In my free time, I like doing sports. I'm a big food lover. I love exploring different cultures and cuisines. And I'm currently very excited to explore and learn more about longevity and how can we live healthier and longer our lives. If anyone wants to connect and to talk about any of those things, I will be very excited and happy to do so. So starting talking about this, I want first to acknowledge that being a product manager or being a person in a product team is very hard. It's not easy at all. Often there is a huge pressure and stress. You need to balance a lot of different needs, a lot of different things. You need to be able to think strategically and also very tactically. And you need to be able to deal with the failure very, very often. And on another side, product managers are often on its own. Product managers are often self-learners, mostly learning by our mistakes. And I was one of them, and I see many people every single day like that. It's very rarely that companies could afford someone to take care of their product person, someone who will help them grow, someone who will mentor them, who will coach them, or who have experience in doing that job and helping their people grow. It's very rare. And it's very hard to navigate your career and grow in such circumstances. I want to acknowledge that sometimes it's very overwhelming hearing or listening how someone else is working somewhere in the Silicon Valley and we know it's very far from our reality, and we don't know how to apply it. And by saying all of that, I also want to point out that they are very much different organizations. Like almost every organization is pretty much different. Every organization has a different business model. Every organization has a different structure, different problems to solve. Some organizations are maybe sales driven. Some organizations are driven by the big inspirational leader who have a huge vision and driving everything forward from there. Some organizations are customer driven. Some are maybe just outsourcing their services to some clients and doing what they agree to do. So there is a quite difference. And also from another perspective, sometimes you serve only one client and sometimes you serve millions of clients. And this also pretty much changed the way what is your job and what's expected from you in your role. So what is also very frequent is that in reality, usually it happens that somebody just shows up and tell you, you need to build this, you need to do this, and that you as a product manager or product team, you don't have power to negotiate even. You don't have power to decide or do anything else. It's expected from you just to deliver. So you may think about, isn't that the job of product manager to be actually the person who will do that discover part, or not? But let's deep dive into that in a moment and talk a little bit more about what is product discovery. So first, I want to bring definition that I usually use to clarify what is discovery and what's not. And it says that product discovery is a process of understanding customer problems, needs, or desires, and discovering solution worth solving those problems. That will help your business to succeed. So if you look to this statement, it basically has three parts. First part said that understanding clients' problems, needs, or desires. So I want to point out here that first step in product discovery, and it's essential always, it's important to get things right. Product team need to have a deep understanding of their customers in order to build products that will actually be used and valued by customers. And it's not always about problems. Sometimes it's about needs. Sometimes it's about creating desires of something that customers are not even aware of. Second part of this statement said that it's about discovering solutions worth solving these problems. So once product team understand their customer problem, they start to brainstorm usually solutions. However, it's important not just to build the first idea that comes to their mind. Product team need to validate those ideas and make sure that they are building something that is truly worth solving this problem. And the last part, which is very, very important and sometimes get forgotten or sometimes gets the only part, what's expected from product managers, is to help your business succeed. So whatever we do, whatever we learn, we can solve many problems. We can help our customers have a better life for sure. But it's always important to do it in the way that helps our business succeed as well, to help meet our business goals and results. So looking to this, basically, product discovery is a process of learning what to build and making sure that by doing it, you're succeeding. Your customers are succeeding and your business is succeeding as well. And I will now show you how that process usually starts or how that process could start. So here in the picture, you see just some of the examples. Sometimes it starts by learning or getting some ideas from your customers. Sometimes you start by looking into the different types of the data, product data, business data, analyzing the market, analyzing competitors. Sometimes it starts by having very strategical and important company decisions and goals. Sometimes it's part of agreement with your clients and what you promise to do. So it could be like a set of different sources that initiate this process, but in the beginning, you always have an opportunity. And what's that opportunity? That opportunity could be a big business challenge that is worth solving, or big customer need or desire that you want to solve. So if you now look to that in the beginning there is opportunity and you need to build something, you need to have a solution in the end of discovery. So discovery is basically everything what's happened in between, from opportunity to solution that you are going to build. And the question now, what is that everything? So everything is basically two things. First is understanding and defining the problem. This is very important, the word defining as well, not just understanding. And the second thing is it's ideating and validating solutions that you believe will solve that problem and bring success to your company. And by doing those two things, from product team is expected to basically always reflect your ideas and your solution through the lenses of validating four big product risks. So is that solution going to be viable for your business? Does it going to work with all stakeholders that you have, considering, I don't know, legal or privacy, considering maybe another services that you have, you need to pay attention. Does it cannibalize any other services? How it fits to the overall business model, to the strategy, to the mission of your organization. You need to reflect, is it going to be desirable? Does anyone need that, what you want to build? There's pretty often situation that you want to solve the problem and, I don't know, bring more value to your organization, but you forget about part of your customers and you're building just something that theoretically should solve some business case and bring, let's say, more revenue to your company. But in the end, nobody uses it, and there is no desire for that product from your customers, and it's a waste of your energy and time. Third risk is a feasibility risk. Sometimes it's very important to reflect, is that solution that you want to build actually doable? Can your team do that? Do you have technology that is supporting building such complex or innovative solution maybe? And the last thing is usability. So it's very often that great ideas that have a super potential of solving a big problems are not succeeding because they just created in the way that's not easy to understand for customers, and they don't understand the flow, how to use it. So all those risks product team is supposed to mitigate and reshape their solutions before they finalize the product discovery. So saying all of this, now I want to talk about visualizing how this process could look like, and I love this visualization. I hope you will also relate to that. Well, in the beginning, usually there's a mess. So there's a mess of understanding what's the problem, what's the challenge that you want to solve. There is usually a lot of data. There is a lot of uncertainty. It's very tricky to be there and understand your problem. And once when you understand the problem, then what happens? Usually you get an idea how to solve it. And when you get that idea, so it's usually like often straightforward that you just go with that idea and proceed to make it happen. So in example, this could be that you have a challenge maybe to reduce the churn of your newly released product. And in the beginning, it was messy to understand to analyze which data is the leading, what is lagging indicators there. And when you understand your problem, when you get like a first feeling, okay, I know what I need to solve with my team, then you get the first idea and you just proceed. Okay, let's build design for this. Let's give this to engineering team. They will do it. They'll test it. They will release. We will do validation and so on. So it's like a streamlined, like one linear process. And I like to call this flat idea because there is no much going away from that streamline. You got one idea and then you push that idea to the end. So if you look to this, what I call the flat idea, it could be very dangerous. It could be that you are closing your sensors. You are not exploring more possibilities. You're just looking for the way how to deliver your idea. And it's very easy to fall in this. It's very easy. It's in our nature as a human beings. If we stick for a quite long with an idea, it's over. We just try to push it no matter what. And by doing this, the risky part is that we are basically not validating and mitigating big product risks. So we are not sure, are we building what somebody needs? We are not sure if anyone going to use it. Is there a value for our business? Is it really going to work? So there is a lot of uncertainty and we didn't validate it. And the biggest part of this is that you are not innovating, that you are losing creativity as well. So mostly this idea came from one head, and you're smart and innovative as much as one head is smart. And usually this is the most powerful voice in the room or in the organization. So I want now to jump to different example of how product discovery may look like. And another example is start similar, like you in the beginning, you need to understand what problem you want to solve. There is messiness, a lot of data, everything. And then when you got understanding of your problem, then you jump into iterating solutions. So you may have 1, 2, 3, 4, or many ideas, and you start actually iterating on that idea and learning more with your customers. This could be that you organize one user interview, that you do different types of the prototype testing. So you basically have your idea, one or more, and then you do this iteration of that idea. And then after that, you have involved, I call them, you have an idea that you are moving forward. You have a solution that you move forward. So you may have one idea in the beginning, and then when you learn, you modify that and you improve it, and then you have like a better idea after that. So this I call involving ideas. And as you may guess, those types of discoveries are a little bit better than the previous one, than flat ideas, because here you have one iteration, and that one iteration is helping you to little bit modify, at least in one way, your initial idea. Moving on to the next example that could happen as well is that after this messy part of understanding your problem, and after iterating first on your first idea before you come to the solution, you actually learn a lot and you pivot that idea to something different. And then you have a new ideas, which are maybe solving that problem from completely new perspective. And this is also very, very fine. And the team start learning and applying their knowledge very quickly. So I call this like a rising of a new ideas. And you will guess it's a better way than having a flat ideas or iterating just once. And why it's better? Why it's better? Because it gives a chance to product team to, in this example, validate or iterate at least twice on their initial solution. And every time by iterating, you can address and validate different hypotheses from different product risks that you could identify. And there is one more example that I want to show you. It's something like this. So there are teams who continuously validate and iterate on their ideas. There are teams which discovery look like this, and it could go on. I call it like continuity of iterations. And you will guess probably that the best product teams are working more like this. And this is the way how you minimize all risks and by having a lot of frequency in your iterations. And by doing that, you have the most chances to succeed with your product. So how come this and what's behind this? I'll explain you by actually bringing this data here. So Google Ventures, they have data analyzing their teams over many years. And they have data that shows that if you do only one iteration on your idea, on your solution, you have just 5% chance that your product will work. And if you do 50 plus iterations of your idea, you have 80% chance that your product will succeed, product or feature or whatever you're building. So Silicon Valley Product Group is promoting that it need to be 50 to 100 at least. But this is, I think, the moment where we need to stop and to reflect, like how often we are doing that and what's happening with the product that we are building. Also, very importantly, just to clarify, meaningful iteration here is validating and iterating your idea with customers. So prototype testing, different types of interviews, behavior analysis, some creative things like these are all the landing page, fake call to action, whatever that will help you to actually validate your assumption that you have in some particular phases of your ideation and be sure that you are mitigating product risks. we have a million of examples from the business world, from the science, even from the sports, of people who are succeeding and highlighting that only iterations were actually important or secret ingredients of their success. So Sir James Dyson, for example, iterated more than 5,000 times until he created a vacuum cleaner that helped him succeed. Steve Jobs and Apple were famous by their iterative culture. So first iPhone had more than 200 iterations before it was released. Or even in sport, like Michael Jordan or anyone else, we are all familiar that it's less about talent and it's more about repetitiveness and how often we do that. So saying all of this, I want to actually highlight that iterations in discovery are the key to your product success. If we stick with this thought for a moment, we could maybe try to think why we are not iterating more on our ideas. Why is that not happening more often? Sure, there could be many reasons. I hear them every day. Not every organization have culture that support iterations and experimentations. That's reality of many organizations. Often people told me that they don't have resources. Either they don't have knowledge, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to run an interview. They never did it. It's not in their job description even. Sometimes they don't have time. Sometimes people are pushed just to do as quickly as possible and deliver any solution. And they are evaluated on outputs, not on the outcomes of that. Sometimes people just are not aware of this, and they were taught to do it in one way, and they are following that way until somebody told them differently. So all those arguments are pretty valid, and I want to ask you, what's the cost of not doing validation more frequently? And I think this slide will try to explain that. So this is, I think, Pando research from 2019. There is several similar research in recent years. And this research is telling us that 80% of digital product features are hardly or never used. 8% of features are used sometimes, and 12% only are features that our customers are using frequently, and we can call them features that our customers love. So if you look to this, then I will ask you, like, so what are we doing every day? We are building something that nobody's using. Millions and millions of companies are every day building products that people are not using. And this is the way how companies are dying, basically. So it's just a question how much money they have to burn until they are over. Yes, of course, we can argue if any feature is supposed to be frequently used. That's of course, but the point is that if you just look generally this number, that just like 12% or something that any company in this world is building is frequently used. So looking to all of this, I want to now ask you, like, what you can do to improve your product discovery even tomorrow, even if your organization is fully not supporting you, even if you feel not empowered, or even if you're doing just outsourcing of some software development services to different organizations. So saying that, the first thing that I think it's the most important, and we will talk quite a while about this, is unlocking regular access to your customers. So no matter where you're working, this is a very crucial and very essential thing. So for example, if you're working in an organization and you don't have access to customers at all, for example, you just got assigned to the project and from you is expected to deliver something according to some specifications. So in a situation like this or similar, you could try to be creative in finding the ways to unlock your customers. You could try to talk with the people who have access to customers. You could try to ask them to include you in the meeting, to help you to set up interviews or shadowing session, to even maybe just to talk with customers. But be aware, usually in those organizations, it could be hard in the beginning, but what you learn from the moment when you reach your customers, it's, I think, something that is worth every effort that you put into reaching those customers. Often there is a lot of aha moments, and no matter how good an expert in your domain of the business you could be, you always learn more. And sometimes those learnings are game-changing. So try to keep that in mind, and also, even sometimes if you can't reach your target audience, if you can't reach your exact group of the customers that you are building your product, you could try to validate some of the assumptions with different audience. Maybe sometimes for let's say for feasibility, or for not feasibility, for usability, you can do usability testing with your colleagues from different teams, or from some people that you find on or during lunch break, or with anyone. You could be creative and try to invite people for lunch, show them prototype, ask them for a few ideas. You can try to utilize technology. You can send them surveys. You could try to do some landing page tests. You could try to do different variations of prototyping as well, and just show something to someone and see how other persons are perceiving your solution, what you can learn from there. So if you are working in an organization where you have access, but not your team, somebody else is doing that access for you. So usually those are organizations where you have maybe, I don't know, just sales team talking with customer, or you have customer support team, or you have different operations teams talking with your customers, and not the product team. So in those organizations, it's usually a very big gap in the knowledge between product team and customers. So what I would here advise you to try to partner with those people who have access. And at the beginning, it could be tricky because those people feel confident with the knowledge that they have. Usually they feel that this is the purpose of their job. And sometimes they don't want so easily to share it with anyone, because they're afraid that they will lose their competences. So I will advise you to be smart and to think how to partner with those people. Show them that you have the same goals. Show them that you will be there to help them to achieve their goals as well. And be empathetic, and understand what is the problem that is important for them. And once when you establish connection with your counterpart who have access to clients, then your doors will slowly start to be open, and you will be able to join some meetings and listen to your customers, or maybe organize interviews, shadowing sessions on site, off site, inviting customers to some different types of the testings and the prototyping and so on. And you can always be creative and try to find a way how to reach your customers. So any feedback will be better than no feedback. And if your company on another side has access to customers, but you don't get that access frequently, this is another challenge. So for example, I see this in an organization where there is a department or unit, usually called UX research or something like that, and they are responsible for organizing interviews, scheduling surveys, anything like that. And in those organizations, usually those departments cannot serve the whole organizations. It's very expensive, and they could serve just several teams at the time. So what happens that one team could be served maybe in a quarter, and then next serving can be in next quarter or half a year after that. So if you work in those organizations, I will actually advise you to try to be more proactive, and to try to find a way how you can do interviews more often, even if you don't get support from the UX researchers. So don't be afraid if you're not trained to making interviews or any types of testing. You can always do it and learn from there. And there is no way that you will fail. You will always learn, and everything will be valuable. And just after several times, I probably after 3, 4, 5 times, you will be amazing in doing interviews. Not just one person, the whole team. If you involve the whole team, everybody will know how to do it, and it could become a habit for your team. So also, if you have already someone in your organization, like a UX department or anyone with previous knowledge and experience in doing those types of the validation and testing with the real users, you can always ask them for advice, ask them for guidance. You can always sit with them and get some hints how you can organize interview with yourself, how to set hypotheses, how to organize the questions, and then I ensure you will have enough confidence to do the first interviews with your team. And even if you don't have anyone to ask, just go for that. Just set hypotheses and try to talk with your customers. Show them prototypes, fidelity prototypes, whatever it will help you to solve assumptions that you have at that stage of your product. And if you do all of this, I ensure it will be a huge eye opener for your whole team. You will start, if you start doing this more oftenly, then you will be able to validate smaller assumptions. You will be able to validate smaller hypotheses more frequently. And by doing that more frequently, you will get more confidence that you're building product that's going to work for your customers, for your business, and bring you success. And even if you don't feel that it's your responsibility and your job, if you feel that it's someone else's responsibility and someone else's job, try to partner with that person and find a way how to do it. And you will always learn. There is no way you can waste your time or anything. After any single interview, you just get the knowledge. And if that knowledge means that that product is not going to work, you should be very happy because you find it so early and you didn't waste much time of, let's not even imagine building that product and releasing and then nobody's using it. Second thing that I think it's very important and that you should try to do once when you unlock access to your customers is to validate your ideas more frequently. And if you already work in the teams who have access, just stay with this for a moment and think about your recent projects and how you could do it differently or how much value it could bring you if you have more time for that. So what does it this mean? Let's deep dive a little bit. So if you can do more frequent validations, it means that you will have a smaller and less complex assumptions. And by more iterations, you will have ideas that are involving. You will have validated more product risks and uncertainty will be smaller. And this will bring more confidence to your whole team that you're building something that's going to succeed. So I can give you one interesting example. So if you have just one iteration with your customer, so let's say it's interviewing, prototyping, or whatever. So you usually set up, let's say, maybe 5 hypotheses that you want to validate from that interview. You do that research, you do that testing, and then after that you immediately validated some of them not, but you learn something, and then you got probably 10 more assumptions that you would like to validate. But often, if you are in this loop where you don't have chance to go back and do one more research or find how to validate the new assumptions, what happens? You with your team just proceed into delivering that solution with whatever you know at that stage. And you just did one iteration. You just validated 5 assumptions, and there could be a lot of assumptions that are waiting you there. So opening this frequency and being able to validate often will help you to have a smaller assumption and to do it much, much quicker. And if team is doing this, they could be better and better over time, and this become like their nature, their day-to-day work. So it's quite different in organizations who work in this way. What is the job of the product manager from the different organizations? In organizations who work in this way, job of product managers is exactly this: to make sure with the product team that they are validating every day, or let's say at least 3 times per week. And what I usually see when I start working with teams, that the teams are validating once in a while, like once in a quarter maybe. And then I just see that there's a lot of missed opportunities to validate and to learn more and to get more confidence that you're building the right product. And what's also very frequent is that teams are starting usually with one big user research project, and let's call it project in the beginning of their product discovery. And whatever they learn, they just then proceed with delivering that. And it's a huge gap from the moment when you release that product, when you have next opportunity to learn from your customers. Usually you invested a lot of time and efforts building all of that, and it could be very costly learning. So we can go now to the third, and this is my favorite actually advice that I want to give you. It's about don't stick to one idea. So it could be a trap, usually it is. So don't fall in love with your first idea. It's very easy. It's in human nature to do that. If you stick for just a little bit long with your initial idea, it's over. It will be late. You will just push that idea no matter what, and this is the only way to move forward. So be ready to let your idea go. Explore, listen to others, challenge your thoughts. All ideas are there to be killed, to be thrown to the trash. So try to create a culture where you do this naturally, when there is no hard feelings if some idea is maybe outdated and not anymore active. Open the culture where everyone can freely propose idea and unlock innovation in that way. And it's also very important, like, don't stick to the idea which usually comes from the most powerful voice in the room or in the organization. Try to be smart about that. And remember, it's almost always a trap if you stick only to one idea. And the next and the last point that I actually want to bring you is to include a diverse group in your ideation solutions. So don't be the only person who is ideating solutions. Include others, aim for a diverse group of, and what's the diverse groups of people with different experiences, backgrounds, cultures, education, interests. Include the whole engineering team. Why not? Engineers are usually the most they have always the most creative ideas. And usually they are very shy in the beginning to start giving those ideas. But when they do, those are the ideas that usually are moving forward. And I see this every single day. Even if your role in organization is maybe exactly expecting from you to be that person who will ideate. Maybe you are product designer. Maybe you think and your boss is telling you, oh, your job is to make designs or make solution for this problem. Maybe you expect that from your role, but try to create space for others. Try to hear more different perspectives before you do that. Be open to explore. I'm pretty sure at the beginning it could be hard. It could be hard if you're a designer, if you got feedback from your engineers that something is not clear or that something could be different or maybe a different way to do it. It could be tricky for some persons. But if you do it over time, then you actually get good in that, and you created culture where it's fine to propose idea, where it's fine to say, oh, my idea was bad, yours is better, let's do your idea, or let's create together the next idea that will be even better. And to summarize all, like, those are those four things that I want to give you as advice that you can try to think about and to see if you can do differently in your jobs. So unlocking access to your customers regularly, validate your ideas more frequently, don't stick to one idea, and include the whole team or diverse group of the people in ideating solutions. And if you just try to do those four things, I guarantee that you will grow a lot as a product person, that your products have more chance to succeed, and your customers will be more happy. And saying all that, I just want to thank you officially. Like, presentation is over, and we can maybe now take questions or talk about. I'm not sure how much time we have left.
We have 20 minutes more.
Oh, great.
Till the end, and we have enough time for questions. You can write, you can also raise a hand or just unmute yourself and ask whatever you want. So
questions. What would you like to talk more, or what was interesting for you? Give us more anti-patterns from your previous companies. Oh, anti-patterns, that's a nice word. So it pretty much depends from what type of organization you're working. So now I work in a huge organization, like it's 75 million of customers. So it's a very big. And what's pretty common anti-pattern, maybe it's anti-pattern, maybe it's not, but for me, it's something that is definitely place for improvement, is that every team is starting with by doing like one iteration. Usually it's one big user research. And it's so heavy, like you need to plan it in advance with UX team. You need to prepare like what you want to learn from that research. Then somebody need to execute this big research to get insights, to share it back with you, and you wait for that and wait, and then when you get that knowledge, you just proceed into a regular ideation where you build designs, hand over to engineering team, and start building that solution. So, and often there is a lot of knowledge and lack, and that you lose in this way of working, and teams are not confident they are building right products. And there is also one metric that I didn't put to this presentation. I think overall, I read somewhere on the internet that there is about 70% of features that are not being scaled right now in the product world. So most of the features are being like stopped. And if you ask me, like after A/B test, after validating overall success on your business, and if you ask me why, especially if you work like on the big marketplaces, I think the main reason is that teams are just rushing forward without validating too many risks, and then they just build solution that they are not so confident is going to work, and they just like blindly expecting what will be results of the A/B test, and is it going to bring them value that they expect or not? If not, they just disband that idea and move on. So how do you justify to your stakeholder the investment in continuous discovery or iteration, as you call them? So this is a interesting question. So what you can do to justify this is to show them the risk of not doing that. So if you are building your product without having designers, without having UX persons or someone who will help you to do research and validate your ideas, then you run into big risks. So what you can do, for example, what I was doing when I was product manager, I take a data. I try, of course, to negotiate, to explain. If I don't get a go, okay, then I do how they expect from me to do. But then I collect the data. And then I come back with this data and say, oh, look, we built everything as we wanted and didn't succeed. This is adoption of our latest feature. This is adoption of our latest, I don't know, 1 year of all features that we released. And then show them adoption and say, okay, how much money you can go on. You can calculate how much money we invested in this and how much money we get in return. So we are losing a lot of money. And then you can tell them, yes, this is how we work now. But I think if we change way, if we validate more, if we are closer to what our users need, this will reduce this risk. So do we have more? Thank you, Slobodan, for questions.
Nothing else for now.
Is there anything that you see as a maybe risk in your organizations of doing this more often? What's stopping you? Like, maybe you can share with us. Anyone?
Oh, we have one more question from Bella. What was the most painful experience you had?
Oh, so failure is always painful.
Interesting.
We have different kinds of painful experiences. So if I look as a product manager, the most painful is when you build something that doesn't work, when you fail, when you have strong expectations from the company and leadership to deliver something and you fail. This is painful. If I look as someone who is coach or who is trying to drive different behaviors or changes in organization nowadays, then painful is when you try to do some change, when you see some improvement, and then leadership just have strategical initiative that is pushing the whole team to going in the way how they did it before and not supporting fully. So I think for this to succeed, one of the key things is to have a leadership who understand this and who support this fully. When I was talking with John Moore from Silicon Valley Product Group, he told me like when he's a leader in organization, he hired product managers and tell them that he expected from them to do interviews every day or at least 3 times per week. And if ever it happens that there is some stakeholder meeting or a status report or anything that is important that they can't attend interview with their customers, they should tell him and he will replace them in that meeting, and they need to spend their time with customers. So you need this type of the mindset to fully support persons to actually do in this way and learn and grow. Thank you, Bella, for question. Do you have any more thoughts on this topic? I would be curious to hear. So what was not done in Simone Net organization was lack of knowledge, placed in front of people to access customers, time pressured with focus on delivery. Okay, and what was the result of working like this in your organization? Did you succeed? Did you meet your goals, or what was the outcome? Maybe you can feel free to just pick up if you want.
Sure. I think things improve once you start focusing on delivery, right? But I'm describing here teams I joined where it wasn't done. And here are the reasons I found why it wasn't done, right? Like sometimes it was literally people being promoted into PM roles, didn't know anything about discovery and thought that being a product manager is basically being a manager of the backlog, like a PO in a Scrum environment, right? Not thinking strategic, not even recognizing that it was part of their role to do discovery. So if you don't even know that, then you cannot do it, right? And the second point, like, so I worked in organizations where it was just not part of the culture to talk to customers directly, and sales actively did not want product people in those conversations, being scared that we would somehow mess up the relationships. So it's funny, you know, you laugh about it in hindsight, but like that was the situation I found when I joined companies. And so it's just like, or people simply didn't know how to do it, you know, like they had never done it before and they just needed a bit of help to get started. So I found all kinds of things why it wasn't done. But I don't think it was ever not done because people already knew it should be done and then chose not to do it.
Yeah, so you name very good points. I saw that very often, like leaders promoted to the product positions and actually not understanding full the product manager role and all competences. And then you have people who grow with those leaders and observing those leaders how behave, and then they absorb the same behavior. And this trend is happening years over years in product, unfortunately. And about your examples about sales teams, that's exactly what I was trying to emphasize here, to find a common language with those people who have access in this, in your case, sales, and find the common metrics, and then partner with them to help them to help build trust that you are there to support them, that they are not afraid of including you in the meeting, that you are there to tell them and to actually maybe support their negotiations and bring more data or help them achieve their goals. So Ljubica said that she managed to do this somehow. So can you share your example with us if you would like to speak up? Don't be afraid. If you don't want, it's also fine. So is there any other thoughts or questions or examples that you want to share? So if not, I think like if any one of you would like to connect, would like to exchange your thoughts or anything, I'll be happy to stay in touch. So you can add me on LinkedIn, Ozren C is my name. So feel free to ping me or ask anything. And thank you once again for listening to this. And I wish you a nice day and a lot of interesting talks in the rest of the day. So enjoy and see you.
Thank you for everything. Thank you, Ozren, for this great presentation. And I will call everybody. I will share now in
You're mute.
Yes, okay. For voting and to share your feedback in 3 words to describe your feelings about this presentation. It will be very good to hear what do you think about this. Thank you. And join us from in 8 more minutes. We start with a new presentation. Thank you, Ozren, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.